Our first panel is about female founders, why there is such a shocking gender imbalance. And I'd love to welcome to the stage the fierce female founder of The Digital Voice, Julia Linehan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Erin. I'll give you a hug, Thank you so much. Well, hopefully, I'm well placed to talk to you and moderate on this panel. And before I invite up my brilliant panelists here, I'm just going to get you involved because we like to make this a bit interactive. Put your hand up if you are a female founder or leader. Okay, there's some here and they're going to be on there. We've got some there. We have hands going up. That shows that, we need to do a little bit more, and we're going to equip you how to do it. Put your hand up, male or female, if you know a female founder or leader. Okay, brilliant. That's where we're at today. This is about not just hearing from female founders, the challenges, the reality versus the pipe dream, what to do, what partnerships to create, and what makes it work. It's also about equipping you to going out there and really understanding, all of you, how you can work with female founders, how we can encourage as an industry to increase that figure. So this is where I'm going to ask you a question. Last year in the press, it came out in the press, the percentage of female tech founders. Anybody know what that percentage was? Shout it out to me if you know. Do you think it was, does anyone know, anyone know? Oh, 5%. Well done. On the money. And that is the number. What's the actual fudge? I mean, 5%. It's an incredibly low figure. And what we're trying to do is encourage through both these kind of events and through you all in growing that number. So that's what today is all about. And it's about the partnerships that cement them, build them, and help females lead in, step up, and create more of a balance. So without further ado, I'm going to invite to the stage Ellie, Edward Scott, Samina, Courtin, and Linehan Johnstone. Please welcome them to the stage. Oh, thank you, my love. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Welcome. I'll make sure I can see you all. I am going to come to you, the audience, as well, at various points and just see if there's any questions and be on your markers because I'm going to ask you another question. But first up, let me turn my chair so I can see you all. Right, I'm going to ask you all to say your name, the company you're at, and also why you set it up or why you lead it. Is that all right? First, and the names to the faces then. Linehan, starting with you first.
Hi, everybody. My name's Linehan Johnstone. I'm the founder of Affiverse. We're an affiliate marketing agency, and we're also a publisher and a training business. So we help affiliate managers to learn how to do affiliate marketing better, and our mission is to help brands to really get the most out of this channel. Why I set the business up, anybody who's met me will know that I'm incredibly passionate about this industry. I've spent most of my adult life in it. And what I'm passionate about is making sure that the next generation of people that come into this industry get the right training, get the right principles and practices that we need in order to continue to make this industry grow.
Perfect, and we're going to come back to that training bit, so hold that thought, Linehan. Samina.
Hi, I'm Samina Courtin. I founded a company called Mondesert. It's not in the performance marketing industry. I used to work in affiliate advertising, but I left to go on the other side. And I think I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur from day one, I think. I had that little kind of, fire in me that I wanted to do my own thing. And I took the plunge, and I knew it had to be in food. So Mondesert, we make dessert making kits, baking kits. We're selling now in Ocado, in the Co-op, and in Waitrose. But we've also got an e-com site. And yeah, it's 100% a passion. I'm literally hands in all pies. So excuse the pun. But yeah, it's, I'm incredibly passionate about this and e-coms and the world of advertising too, so yeah,
perfect.
Allows me to marry everything up together.
Thank you, Samina. And I would say as well, Samina and I go way back for about, I think it's 20 odd years. And I would say, when we talk about partnerships, I can't stress enough how important it is to make them all the way through your career.
Absolutely.
And I'm very proud of you for making the leap. So we'll come back to that, Samina. Ellie.
Thank you, Jules. My name is Ellie Edwards-Scott. I'm co-founder of the Advisory Collective, and we do three things. We help tech companies land, launch and scale within the UK market. So we bring new tech to market, which I'm super passionate about and helps us get involved in all sorts of areas. We also advise on M&A due diligence for companies. And lastly, for in-market companies, we can still work with you because we tend to work with companies that have been in market sub 3 years on strategy, growth, ideal client partner, and just kind of help them to scale. Why did I set up the business? Gosh,
Oh, yes.
I've been in the media business for over 20 years. I'll keep it at that. I won't tell you the exact number. Ex-publishing, ex-agency. And when I was in the agencies, I was ex-Dentsu and ex-Group M. And I ran quite big teams and wanted to hear about new technology, about new things, but you're so busy in the weeds when you're in an agency, kind of getting on with the day job. It's hard to find new things and it's hard for tech to cut through. So recognising that my understanding of technology and commercial understanding, and also because I know how to navigate the agency world, being from that, I can help companies do that, and I'm really passionate about that.
Perfect. And Ellie's also my co-founder of Digital Leading Ladies.
Yes.
So that's another organisation. There's plenty out there, Whack or Bloom and Digital Leading Ladies.
Definitely.
We'll cover that in a minute. But Samina, I'm going to come to you first because you did make that leap. And to me, weirdly, there's never been a better time to set up and found as a female founder. So I'm just putting that out there. Samina, why do you think, what's stopping more women from leaping?
I think it's that thing of, I think it's a generalisation, but I think a lot of women tend to not do or take the leap in certain things unless they've got 100% credentials. Whereas a man potentially might just do it anyway. I know that's a generalisation, I know that's not all men and that's not all women, but I think, yeah, that's very, very true. A lot of imposter syndrome out there to kind of take the plunge. And I feel like also because it is predominantly still a woman that kind of looks after the household and the children, and potentially they'll feel it's too much to kind of juggle everything as well as start a company and, you know, bring in money. It's just too much stress. So I think that's probably why maybe female founders don't do it, whereas men do take the jump.
So this is an interesting one because we were talking about this and there's this stat that says men will just, what is it, do 60%?
60%, yeah. It's a stat. I was going to say,
yes,
when you're saying there is a stat,
yes.
and it's basically, it's about going for a job, and it's saying a man will go, again, generalising, but they have done research on it, a man will be 60% qualified for a role and will go for it, whereas a woman will wait to be 90%.
Yeah.
So
here's the question for you then,
correlate.
Ellie. So if it's we can, as women, learn from men in this, so what is it that can we, that's one aspect that we can learn from men.
Yeah.
Leap before you've got all the ticks in a row.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, we talk about it, Jules, because, we run, co-founders of a female-led network, but it's not an anti-male network. So, things like allyship, sponsorship are really important. Simple things as speaking up when you're in a room or in a meeting, if you're male, speaking up, or when your female colleague does speak up, encouraging them, not mansplaining what they've said, but encouraging them, saying that's a good point. Making sure people are included in the office environment, because a lot of the time women won't be included in the office environment. And if you are in that office environment as a woman, don't do what's called housework. It's things like, getting into a room and making cups, making sure everyone's got a cup of tea. Sod it, anyone can get their own cup of tea, get your own and go and sit down. But it's things that women don't, we just kind of jump and do these things, and actually it does diminish your role slightly. What everyone can do. Don't offer to take the notes. I'll often be in calls and I'll be like, who's doing the note taking? Why should you do the note taking? So it's little things like that do make a difference, I think.
I think that's true, and I think, Leanne, I wanted to come to you there because I think there's, as well as those aspects of what we can learn from men and how we encourage, there's also an element though of when things don't work out, and I think I'm really fascinated by this, of when Leanne and I were talking about partnerships and toxic partnerships. You've had experience of it, and I really wanted this to be a part of it, of what you've experienced and what you'd learned from it.
Yeah, so sometimes you think you're not good enough, and somebody will come along and they'll say, well, I'll help you. And you take the hand because you feel like you're not strong enough to go forward on your own. And what ends up happening is the partnership isn't equally aligned. And so for me, what happened is I had a business partner right at the start of my journey. It didn't last very long because it wasn't an equal partnership. And I ended up buying out the founder that I had, the co-founder that I had. And it was a very traumatic experience, but in hindsight, going through that experience when I started my business, it also helped me see just how strong I was and that I could. Because often we don't believe that we can, but you are 100% perfect just the way that you are. And believing in that is the first step to your success. So for all of you young ladies out there starting your career, you are 100% perfect the way that you are. And you will go on your journey and you will not necessarily need help to be successful in the future. You will learn from other people that come along with you on that partnership, but you will always be enough. And I think if you start...
I love that, absolutely love that.
If you start with that in mind, and I had to learn that the hard way because I wasn't confident enough to launch my business at the beginning. I thought taking a partner would help me do it a lot faster. And actually our business grew by 257% when the partner left.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually need anybody else to help me, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. I just didn't have my own self-confidence. So if you work on your self-confidence now and get that ready, in future you will be a successful business person if that is the choice that you want to make.
So I want to stay with you, Linehan, but I'm going to come down all the line on this one point, because we're talking about you don't need partnerships, but sometimes they make you better and stronger. Yes. When do they make you better? And can you call out one each on this partnership that works?
You know, my partnership with Impact has made us stronger. Finding a partner, I think you need to make sure that the partnership aligns, that the partnership is equal. So why are you getting into this partnership? What does the partnership values mean? And making sure that the partner that you enter into partnership with has the same values and ideals and goals that you do. Because when those don't align, the partnership very quickly becomes unequal. So partnerships are great, and I would recommend if you can, you know, spearhead your business faster, partner with whoever you can, but make sure that your values are aligned at the start.
That's really important. Samina, how about for you? Can you call out a partnership that's worked and that's boosted your company?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of networks out there for female founders, which is great. But not only the female founders, just people within my industry now, which is now grocery. So I've, got a lot of networks in that area. But it's just about transparency. Dealt with mentorships, just kind of tapping into people that are very closely aligned with you, but also honesty. I think the times where it's kind of stung is when, it's just not honest or just not transparent, and people have maybe ulterior motives than you have, and it can get very, very cloudy in that way. I know that's very vague and ambiguous potentially, but it's just when you're just not honest, I think. Yeah, I think that it has to be transparent.
So we've got values, and tying in the values, transparency. Ellie?
So I started out, when I left Dentsu, I started out as a consultant just by myself, and then that was 8 years ago, and then 6 years ago, co-founded the Advisory Collective. So as you know, Lisa, who's in sailing in Croatia at the moment, my business partner, so we started the business together. And picking up on both your points, you've got to be aligned in what the goals and objectives are. You've also got to be really honest about your strengths and weaknesses and what you're both bringing to it. Lisa doesn't like to do the public speaking and being on stage. That's fine. Give me a mic, I'm there, But it doesn't mean that she's not doing something else. It's knowing what you can both contribute. But also, sometimes on 1 week, 1 month, maybe one person is working harder than the other because we kind of split clients that we work with. And knowing that the other person will pick up the slack when he's needed. So I think you've got to really understand yourself, be true to who you are, understand your own strengths and weaknesses, and be able to have those honest conversations. We speak multiple times a day. We did remote working before remote working was even a thing, because we deal with a lot of global clients. But when we do come together, we come together with a purpose, for a purpose, and make sure that we're constantly talking about the business and how we can build and grow it. And that alignment is really key. That alignment.
So align
and honesty.
on values, align on trust, and play to your strengths. Absolutely love that. I want to come on to networks, and I mentioned, obviously, Ellie, we co-founded Digital Leading Ladies, so I'm a big advocate of leaning into networks. I'm going to come to you, Linehan, only because I know that for both of you what networks that you lean into. Linehan, from your side, within the affiliate space, within the performance space, are there networks out there that you'd recommend?
There's one very important network that I have recently joined, which I have had incredible value from. It's a group in the US called Link Unite.
Link Unite,
and
okay.
they're actually a female, it's lead generation, performance marketing, a whole bunch of different digital industries are combined. But there's just some fabulous women that are lifting each other up and helping each other to grow and network and connect to people. And I think if you, whether you're running a business or whether you're just building your career, your network in this industry is what really gives you value. And this industry very much still relies on having good networking skills and building good partnerships. So I think, find your tribe, get involved, be a part of that community, because those are the people that are going to lift you up when you have your down days.
Yeah. I think that's very true. And actually, so we were talking about this beforehand, Samina and Ellie, and with Linehan, of talking about investment. And a lot of the investments and partnerships, etc., we make, and we see it within the groups of discussions. And there's a bit of a figure, and I'm going to test you as the audience with a bit of Bruce Forsyth, higher or lower. A lot of people won't even know what I'm talking about.
I was going to say, yeah, you've lost the audience. So
because this figure, I was just a bit shocked by. So I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to start with a figure, and I want you to shout out higher or lower, or if you're shy, higher, lower. This is about the percentage of money, isn't it? It's a percentage that is invested by VCs in female founders. Now, I'm going to start with, is it 50%? Lower, we're going lower, 20%. Let's go. Still lower, 10%. Still lower, still lower, still lower. Is it 7%, higher or lower? Lower, just a smidge lower. Samina, hit me with a number.
1.9%. 1.9%.
Take a minute for that. I mean, that's fudging. I'm being really well behaved today. It's so bad. It's so bad.
And on
Ellie,
black, I was
tell
going
me
to say,
make it worse.
the figure on black-led businesses, I think, is like 0.3%.
0.3%
funding.
So this is, this is something that just drives me. But because I started when I was talking to these ladies before, I was like, is there bias still? And they were like, just a smidge, just a smidge. So we've got to understand, I think, as what your experiences have been. And I'm probably going to come to Ellie and Samina first. And what were your experiences? Say, Samina, for you.
I've been in investment meetings, and I think I've been in with my husband and business partners, and they'll direct the questions to them rather than to me. And it's generally, I think it's just that investors are traditionally older white men still. I think that has to change. There has to be female investors on board, otherwise things will not change. There has to be women of colour on board as well, otherwise things will not change. And it's still just that thing of we've got to go stand up and speak. Like as you said, our voice needs to be heard. And it just comes down to that, because they don't look at you, they don't take you seriously. They think it's just a little hobby or that sort of thing. And that's why it's kind of brushed aside, and that's why women are not getting the money.
I know, and it's so the big question I have, Ellie, I'll come to you, and then I'm going to come to you, Liane, on another one around this point. How do we move the needle? Ellie?
Yeah, gosh. you've said a few different things. So we're a self-funded business, but as I mentioned in the intro, we do advise on M&A strategy. And you're right, in terms of people we're speaking with, it's always white, middle-aged or older men who have that money investment. We tend to work with Accentures or PwC, and the teams that we work with are very male-headed. So again, unconscious bias is a thing, but also I think women. I don't know how many of those female-led businesses are going for funding. If I think about our element of the industry, Jules, and Amy from Good Loop has been a success story as a female-founded business that's got funding, but actually there aren't many others out there. So, we're going to talk about it as well, I think, but people need to take the leap. If you have an idea, just take the leap. What's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work, you can probably go back into a full-time job, but sitting there working for somebody else, it may be your thing, but actually if you've got a great idea, why not just start it out and see if you can do it?
I agree. I'm always saying to my team, it's leap and learn and test and fail.
It's the only
Doesn't
way
matter,
to
you've got to
learn.
leap. Leanne, for you, you set up a company, you founded it. Did you have any challenges or what would be your advice on doing it? And I do think you've raised the point there. Maybe we're just not asking for the money. That would be the other point. But Leanne.
Well, I've been very lucky because I started the business and self-funded as well. And for two reasons. One, because that was a personal achievement that I wanted to do in my life, is start a business and make it profitable. I'm very thankful to say that every single year I've been in business, we have made profit, and many businesses fail in the first 5 years. So that was my challenge to me, is can I, I ran businesses for other companies for many, many years, made them profitable. My challenge to me was, can I start a business and make it profitable? Tick. My next challenge is, can I grow my business, take it global and get investment? I'm going to be up against what these ladies have already gone through. I think, your network again comes into play. And I think most females, they just don't ask because they're not at a place where they feel they can. I think on paper, if I had to take my business to an investor, it would look great. Who starts a business in a global recession through a pandemic, has a positive, bottom line. I mean, I think any investor that I put that in front of would probably say, yeah, sure, I'll give you some money. But I think it would still be hard conversations because of the things that are happening right now, and the industry just isn't catching up.
Definitely. And just on that, sorry if you don't mind, Jules, me jumping in, but on that as well, I think, getting investment isn't easy, and it's not just writing a business plan. So where you can, if you can, it's about the network as well. If you've got somebody who's done it, who can advise you, because it isn't the same as just kind of going in and presenting a business plan. It's very thorough, it's very detailed. If you're asking for, hundreds of thousands, even millions within your company, you're going to be put through the ringer. So if you've got somebody, or even pay for professional help. The biggest thing about running your own business is knowing what you can't do, and if you can, pay for that help, because it will actually, you will see the benefits of it.
That's a very good point that both me and Samina were talking about, is that female founders don't, we try and do everything because we feel like we have to be everything to be perfect. We do put that pressure on ourselves, and actually asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
Definitely.
And that is whether you're running a business or whether you're working in your career. And getting the help that you need at the right time is actually the success metric. It's not about doing it on your own. That's not the success metric. It's doing it successfully and getting the help that you need at the right time.
And talking about asking for help, let me just ask the audience if you've got any questions, because I feel like I'm monopolising it, because I've only got a few more minutes. Any questions? Or any more questions? I have questions, because I always do. Anything anybody wants to ask? I've got to say all three will be around in the networking break. Please do ask questions, because I know it's difficult in an environment like this. So what steps can everybody take as a company to helping women lead? So not necessarily founding, but just helping women in tech lead. Samina, any thoughts, some steps that companies can take?
I think it's just promoting women and making them leaders. I think unless we have more female leaders, we're never going to change the dial. I think that's the key. So women standing up and being founders, starting their own companies and going for it, because then it all filters down. I think from there, the world is going to change. And it is slowly happening. I think we're getting...
It really is.
Yeah, it is slowly
happening.
Positive. Yeah. There are more very Fortune 500 CEOs out there now. I mean, there's women on the board, as I said, female investors as well. We need to put our money... even if it's the crowdfunding platform, just get out there, start talking that language. That's the only way things are going to change.
Ellie, what do you think? Some steps? We've got lots of different types of companies here and different businesses and everything. What steps could they do to encourage women to lead?
Get females involved in meetings, get them involved in presenting, training is really important. I don't think you did. I hadn't had any I had sales training back in the day, but not presentation training to get on stage. And it is daunting for a lot of people to do it. Even, standing up in front of your peer group, in front of 20 or people, or 50 or whatever that may be, presenting your ideas. So invest in training, invest in people, and also cross-mentoring, teaming up a junior member with a more senior member, that will help both the junior and senior member understand what the office is like, because it's going to be different for somebody who's just starting out in their career versus somebody who's been in there a long time. So
perfect. And I'll just add in there, if anybody here in the audience wants to have presentation training, it would be my honour to do. I can do a session virtually. I do a really interactive session, so watch it. It's about 20 minutes, but come and see me afterwards. I'd be more than happy, because I do think that women are very much asked to be on stage. You're not going to be short of speaking obs. Be brave, be bold, be fearless, and come and see me and I'll do training.
Yeah, we know that.
Leanne, take us home.
Pay it forward.
One last thing to
and I did want to follow on from what Ellie just said. Pay it forward. It doesn't matter where you are in your career. You can always teach somebody else because there's somebody underneath you. So, as females, the only way we're going to change it is if we change the dynamic ourselves. So, open doors for your colleagues. Lift your colleagues up, even if they are at the first stage of their career. You don't have to be a leader to actually teach. You can just be a little bit ahead of somebody else to teach, and all of that will help because it compounds.
Lift and lead. Very, very good. Now, my panels would not be complete without a quick fire round. This one, the panelists or sufferers have to finish a sentence. You've got to be quick, you've got to be fast. I'll shout out your name. Please finish this sentence. Samina, I wish I'd known.
How difficult it is to make a product. Literally. Obviously, working in kind of advertising, digital marketing is so different from doing a product-based business. It's literally, it's many sleepless nights because things have broken. I've been putting tape on things that need to go out to a shop or go to I wish I'd known as well. Just be nice to everyone. I think it's that thing of lifting yourself up because you don't know what is around the corner.
Perfect.
I'll add that.
My gutsiest move is was
starting up my own business. I left a very significant six-figure salary, and yes, I had the support of my husband, but I'm going to do this myself.
Perfect. Leanne, I am most optimistic about
the future.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm coming back to you, Samina. My secret sauce is. That's this
sugar. Apart from sugar, I'd say I like running. I think it's you just need to find a thing to zone you out. I think meditation, running, whatever it is. You need your space.
You need your secret sauce, whatever it may be. Ellie, coming to you. I am most proud of, and I know it's founding your company, and now I feel bad asking you.
No, I'm most proud actually of, that's one of it, but also the work I've done to help others, and in terms of mentorship, in terms of I sit on I'm a trustee for a digital skills charity, and they help young talent enter the industry and provide a pathway. I'm most proud of the way I can help others. I also I'm a non-exec for a care, support and housing organisation, so it's about paying it forward and paying it back.
And you certainly do that in droves. So thank you, Ellie. Final question. Leanne, my biggest hope for the industry is?
We invest more in training because affiliate managers or affiliate account managers are some of the most skilled digital marketers in the industry. They have to be jack of all trades, master of all trades too. So if we just educate and keep our industry growing as it changes all the time, it's never the same. What we did 10 years ago is not the same as what we're doing now, and it's certainly not going to be the same in 10 years' time. So keep learning and keep supporting one another.
Amazing. And on that note, can you please put your hands together for Leanne, Samina, and Ellie? Woo! Thank you, guys.
Thank you.